and we are going to get it going on the old Facebook as well. Going to connect over there, and we are going to do, for the first time ever, just a still picture of me. So we're going to call our guest. Going to get them in here. Andy Nguyen, I believe, is the name of the big perv magnet we're going to talk to today. And we'll see if Andy picks the Skype up. And I believe we might have our guest on Skype. Can you hear me?
Hi.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good, actually. Let me see if I can get our... because we're doing video and audio here, so it's all sorts of fun today. So I'm trying to pull everything together here. But talk to us a little bit about, first of all, your background in doing MMA. Introduce us to you for the folks that don't know about you or have been hiding under a rock or what have you.
Geez, I don't know where to start. I started MMA like 8 years ago. It got legalized in South Carolina. I went to a sold-out event, and I didn't really want to go. I didn't want to see two barbaric men in the look like animals in a cage. And my son's father bought me a ticket, and him and his fiance at the time invited me to go. I didn't have any friends, and I moved to Myrtle Beach so then my son could get closer to his father. So anyways, we went, and then I was not paying attention to the guys' fights at all. I was mingling, making friends. And then these two girls came out at a strawweight, and I couldn't believe that girls could do that. I didn't know there was girls in weight classes. So I ran up to my ex, and I told him I wanted to do it. He got me in a gym. 3 months later, I won my first amateur fight, and I've been hooked ever since.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, going through your background and everything, I noticed that you've done King of the Cage, which I was a huge fan of King of the Cage back in the day. How did you get hooked up with these folks?
The owner, Terry Trevelock, been wanting me. But I was ready. I was signed with XFC, and I was very reluctant to sign somebody else. So, because all that went down, that we were signed, and then we didn't get to fight on the show because they lost their TV deal or whatever. They changed owners or whatever, and then so I hooked up with King of the Cage, and then I was their first Atomweight champion, and
That's
then
awesome.
I opened up that division up for the women's, and then I went to Ryzen, and then now I'm signed with Lion Fights Muay Thai. It's a 3-fight deal. It's a little change up from. I didn't retire from MMA. I just wanted to change it up a little bit and just try it out. So we'll see.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, talk to me a little bit about, kind of give me a little the behind the scenes of going from King of the Cage to Ryzen to now doing the Lion Fights. Do they reach out to you? Do you reach out to them? Do you have management? How does that whole thing work back and forth?
I know everybody always asks me. I don't have a manager. I pretty much do my own thing. Donnie
cool.
Aaron, if people message me and I don't want to answer them, I'll get Donnie Aaron to act like he's my manager, and then
That's
get
awesome.
them to blow him off, whatever. But yeah.
I've had musicians that have done that in the past, so that is that's a cool trick that I'm glad the MMA world is learning as well. So talk to me a little bit about going from, because you mentioned you got in the gym, you started training. What was the process going from just wanting, what was sort of a fan of it, seeing the women fight, and then wanting to do this? Take me through this whole training process that you had.
One of my first amateur fight, I had no technique. You know, it was only 3 months of training part time. I was working at the same time too. So I won by aggression. I was, you don't do straight punches in your first fight. You're swimming basically, and I don't know. I didn't know how to weight cut. I didn't do it right. I didn't really know how to weight cut until I turned pro. Really. I don't know. It keeps me in shape. I can't really complain. I get to travel all over the world, and I enjoy it very much. There's ups and downs. Nobody likes to lose, but losing made me humble myself and learned a lot of things, and I learned more about life. I just want to be a better person every day, and I'm enjoying the journey. That's all I can say.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, you have had the last, I don't know, probably the last 3 or 4 days of the beginning of the year, you have kind of taken over YouTube and the internet with people talking about this entrance that you did at Ryzen. Talk to me a little bit about this whole Michael Jackson inspired entrance that you did.
So one of my best friends was getting hurt through domestic violence, and her nickname is Annie. So I always get a little creative with walkouts and stuff like that. Like my debut for Ryzen, it was American Woman by Lenny Kravitz. I walked out with a pink cowboy hat to make it look like I'm more American, even though I'm Asian. So that was kind of cool. And, they brought us up from, the floor. I never get to do something like that because, copyrights in America, King of the Cage, you can't pick out your own music.
Yeah.
Same thing with Legacy. We used to, but now the copyrights you can't. So I really miss that, and I really appreciate that I could do that in Ryzen. So I bought a hat. I bought a one, white glove with rhinestones in it. And it's not like I have a ramp at the house and train for that or rehearse that whole dance thing. It just worked really well. I'm an entertainer. I like to dance, and I told Andrea I was going to do it. She didn't believe me, but I was going to do it. And I don't know. It's a message out there about domestic violence, and I was supporting my friend. She walked down the ramp with me, and I just like Michael Jackson. He died. I mean, his birthday just passed right before for that Ryzen fight, and It was just perfect. It fit really well.
Well, talk to me a little bit about the Japan and fighting in Japan, comparing that to the United States, because, for instance, with Ryzen, they have all the pomp and circumstance, the big ramps, the pyro. They make a big deal out of this, and to fight on New Year's Eve in Japan is a huge deal in mixed martial arts. Just chat with me here a little bit about that and some of the differences with MMA in the United States, back and forth.
The fans there are really, really sweet people. When you go to a UFC fight, people are drunk and they're like, "Kick her ass!" and they're yelling. In Japan, they're not like that. They look like Harvard students with glasses. They look like real nerds, and there's no beer vendors. There's no alcohol at all. They're sitting there because they appreciate martial arts. My cornermen don't even have to yell. You could drop a pin drop and then you could hear them. They could text me and I could hear them cornering me. It's insane.
That's awesome.
Difference, and I'm fighting against over 20,000 people. It's like a college football game basically, and but you can't even tell because they're so quiet. So I don't get nervous or anything. It actually excites me. The walkout is like my warm up. It raises my heart rate up, and I bring it back down once I get in the ring and stuff like that to really fight. And that's about it. I don't know what else to tell you. Jet lag sucks. I had to get my friends to wake up at 5 a.m. to watch me fight. That sucks. But
yeah.
And I wouldn't have got mad if they missed the fight. They could just, it's going to go on YouTube or Facebook or social media somehow. It goes on there pretty fast.
Now, fighting in the United States and being backstage at some of these different events and even covering events that we've been involved in, I noticed that a lot of the fighters, you know, sometimes before the fight and after the fight, they're hanging out with each other, talking. It's kind of a camaraderie kind of deal. What is that like in Japan on New Year's Eve? Because it's got like a Super Bowl or a WrestleMania type feel where it's a big deal. Do you have much interaction with the other fighters, or are you just over there doing your thing and then you leave?
Yes, I posted because of New Year's, Facebook always pops up memory, and there was a picture of Miyu feeding me sake. So yes, we after the fight, she was feeding me sake, and it's like a tradition how you break it's like a wooden keg, and you break it, and then you feed you feed your opponent sake. I think that's kind of cool.
That's cool. So I guess one of my big questions is what do you think of this Gabby Garcia? She just looks like she's been chopped out of granite. I was watching your fight, and then I was watching her fight later on, and I'm like, my God, she's got to be just TV just probably does not do her justice.
Yeah, but she's so sweet. She looks like a monster. She is a monster in the ring, but she is so sweet. She talks in baby voices. You'd be so surprised.
That's awesome. That's awesome. We have got a great guest with us today. She joins us live here on Skype. And Andy, you have built up a really good social media following. You've got a lot of Twitter followers. You've put like I said, your social media is amazing. Talk to me a little bit about how you've built that over the last couple of years with MMA.
Sex sells. Let's be honest. Everybody should know that sex sells, and I am not afraid to show a little skin. I'm not nude or anything. Andrea KGB Lee and I have been selling calendars for the past 3 years. We sold out the past 3 years, and it's just, again, it keeps us in shape, and we have to make sure that we stay in shape even though we're not fighting, and we cut weight for those modeling pictures also. Pretty girls could fight too.
That's awesome. So what do? You just find a photographer and pay them a fee, and then you guys do the calendar? How does that all work?
Yes, we do have to pay for the printers and the photographer and all that. We use Legacy Playmaker. His name is Tim Editing, and his wife. He is based out of Shreveport, Bossier City, Louisiana. We're very loyal, so all those pictures are from him. We have worked with other photographers, but you know what? He's the best one. We just can't move away from him.
That's great. That's great. We have got a great guest with us today. Andy joins us live here on our broadcast, and you have a great following, a tremendous background. Now that you've moved on from Ryzen, when is your next fight?
I'm supposed to be fighting in Hawaii, January 19th, against Tiana Valley for X1 events. I'm waiting for my itinerary. I'm not going to get excited until I get my itinerary. I mean, I'm still training. I have a fight coming, but I'm just waiting for my itinerary. I didn't move away from Ryzen. Lion Fights let me fight outside the country. So it is exclusive only in North America.
Oh, well, that's cool. So so you've still got some ties over there and everything. So I guess besides this fight coming up, what's next for you?
Oh, so after the Hawaii fight, then I'll start doing my Muay Thai journey and see how that goes.
That's cool. That's cool. Well, keep us updated on that, and I appreciate you making time for us today. Thanks for coming on and chatting with us.
All right, thank you.
I appreciate it. Have yourself a wonderful day. There she goes, Andy Nguyen, and heck of a deal, and great MMA star. And we are going to take a break.